All right, greetings, 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 one and all. Welcome to Vegan Intel. Hope everybody's doing great. Today, I'm going to be talking about plant-based meat versus animal meat. This is a conversation that gets confused all the time. A lot of mix-ups, and we're going to get into it. Good to see one and all. XYZ, always a pleasure. Rosterman, good to see you. You are correct. Health is wealth. Make sure you all support the channel. Cash App, PayPal. Michael, always a pleasure. Everybody come on in, come on in. Salute. Hope your health is doing well, more power. And we are here, young world. Great to see you. I've been gone for a minute from Vegan Intel, but we're here now to kick a lot of the information. I had a lot going on. I wasn't able to really juggle both channels, but we are here. I got a really good conversation today. There's always a lot of confusion about plant-based meat. Always, always, always. A lot of misinformation. Good to see you, Space Time. There's always a bunch of confusion about that. I'm writing down my notes so I remember what to tell you all. There is so much false information about plant-based meats. Always. Now, let me give a big shout out to plant-based news. Go to plant-based news and watch this presentation. My frustration with the Beyond Meat debate. Go watch that. That's what triggered this conversation. I'm sure eventually I'll be over on plant-based news. It's just a matter of time before they find out that I'm over here doing a vegan intel, and they will definitely be reaching out for my take on things. I probably should hit them up and say, hey, I need to speak on. I probably should just hit them up and say, hey, I need to come over there and speak on the plant-based meat debate. So I probably will do that just to help them out and come over there and drop some serious knowledge on that debate. There is a lot of fake and unrealistic conversations about plant-based meat products. It's never really talked about honestly, to be realistic with you. I love plant-based meat products. I think they're great. I definitely support the products. and people that speak out against the products, don't be actual factual. And so if you're going plant-based, don't let nobody scare you away from the plant-based meats, okay? They're not at all bad for your health the way they describe it. And I'm going to explain that to even those that come over here that say, yeah, but isn't it this and that? Come on over. If you have some discrepancies with plant based meat, get in the chat, let me know so I can correct that information. Okay? The information on them be absolutely wrong, wrong, wrong. Okay? Wrong. Totally wrong. And I look at it and I look at the discussions and I shake my head. I've been a vegan since 1978. Next year will be my 49th year. And then 2028, that'll be 50 years as a vegan. When we started, we called ourselves vegetarians. And so once again, go over to Plant-Based News, tell them Vegan Intel sent you over there. And we're going to have this conversation. Now, people have a tendency to say, oh, Beyond Burgers aren't healthy. The plant-based meats aren't healthy. That is incorrectly stated. Plant-based meats are not health food, but plant-based meats are not unhealthy, but plant-based meats do have some health benefits like protein. And getting protein typically is healthy. So they're kind of playing on the word healthy. They kind of play with it because you need protein. And a plant-based meat source of protein is excellent. Now let's break it down. Plant-based meat versus animal meat. Now, vegan. A vegan eliminates 100% of animal-derived items, including meat, dairy, eggs, and honey. Can still include processed foods like vegan cookies and what they call fake meats. Whereas plant-based centers around whole, minimally processed plant foods. So that's where the debate comes in, because some vegans are saying that plant-based meats are processed. Process is a tricky word, and the word processed can be misused. Processed, meaning. Let's look at the meaning of processed. Processed, the word processed means an item, data, or food has been changed, which means a sweet potato pie technically is processed food. That also means any food cooked technically has been processed. It went through the process of cooking it rather than eating it raw. And so a carrot would be straight up, and carrot juice technically would be processed. So the word process means an item, datum, or food has been changed, treated, or handled through a special set of actions or a routine system. It describes something moved from its natural or raw state to a finished, refined, or usable condition. See, this is how they plan on you with words. Because on that definition, lemonade is processed. Any food you cook based on the definition of process is processed. Only in its raw form is it not processed. This is some nitric oxide, which is made with beet powder and pomegranate powder. This is processed. This is processed. If I got the beets and juiced them, that would be processed. If I got the beets and cooked them, that would be processed. The only way I could eat the beets and it's not processed is slice them up and eat them raw. So a Beyond Burger or something like that is no different than making a sweet potato pie, making a coconut pie, making a mixed juice drink. Technically, there's no difference. Technically. So they be playing with you when they call processed meat. Say, well, that's processed. All meat that you're eating is processed. Duh. There's no such thing as a hamburger nowhere in nature. It goes through a process to get it off of the cow and make hamburger. It's also not always necessarily just ground beef. Okay? Now, that's a hamburger. A burger, historically, is processed. And the original concept of a burger was a patty made from something. Originally, a lot of them were lamb in Europe, where you would take the lamb and make a burger, and that was a burger. The hamburger was specifically from beef, but a burger could be from a variety of animals or plants. That's why they call it a veggie burger. A hamburger distinctly relates to a cow, but they made burgers from pork and many different animals. Chicken, you can make a chicken burger because the burger is a patty that goes through a process. So once again, vegan eliminates 100% of animal-derived items, including meat, dairy, eggs, and honey. Can still include processed foods like vegan cookies or fake meats. Plant-based centers on whole, minimally processed plant foods. Okay? Lifestyle and motivation. Veganism extends past the plate into an ethical philosophy, avoiding leather, wool, silk, cosmetic, tested on animals, and animal entertainment. And so veganism originally was a concept of like animal rights, not dealing with animals, not wearing leather. It wasn't based on just eating. Plant-based usually adopted strictly for personal health, wellness, or heart benefit, does not require changing non-food products like clothing or cosmetics. So plant-based, you could still wear leather and all that because this basically just deals with health and wellness. Veganism is a concept of animal rights, protecting the animals. That's the difference. Okay? So I go by my own vegan rules. To me, vegan is eating natural, eating uh, food with no animals. And to me, my vegan is uh, broad. Then that's why they say plant-based vegan. Yep, exactly. That's why they say plant-based vegan. But it's gotten confusion. A lot of confusion. When I started, I was a vegetarian, but vegetarians can eat cheese and dairy. Rosters call it ital, but certain rosters still eat fish and call it ital. So many of these terms are not really 100% applicable. Okay, like they got terms, but very few people are going by the direct definition of these terms. Very few people. Right? So there's been this big discussion, and they've talked about, okay, Pharaoh, you eat a Beyond Burger. That's not healthy. Well, a Beyond Burger is definitely not unhealthy. Many tests been done between meat and the Beyond Burger, and the Beyond Burger turned out to be healthier by far than meat. The coconut oil and stuff has been by far better for you than what's in the beef. But you go over, and for those details, go over and watch this presentation to get into those details. I'm talking about something different based off of what they were saying. Now, I've been a vegan now for 48 years. So there's a lot of false conversations based on that. So let's say this week, Monday, I have some cabbage with some Brussels sprouts, maybe some small red potatoes. Tuesday, I have some tofu with this. So basically, I ate vegetables. I might have had some pineapple one of those days and stuff, right? So let's say we get to Thursday. I get a chicken. I get a plant-based chicken. I get the plant-based chicken. I make it. I put it on a bun. I put some onions on it. I put some sauteed mushrooms on it. I put some barbecue sauce, some spices, some really good bread on it, and I eat it. Somebody say, Pharaoh, that's not healthy. And that is totally incorrect. If I'm eating fruits and vegetables and nuts and stuff like that, and I make a Beyond Burger, the Beyond Burger is not going to go in my body and unhealthy my body. Now we're getting silly. And that burger is not going to do anything, okay? There's people out here 90, 80, 90 years old that eat processed food and everything, and they still alive. So the idea that I can eat a bunch of fruits and vegetables, and then when I eat a Beyond Burger, that burger is going to go into my body and do something unhealthy. That is absolutely stupid. Like serious, like realistic. That's not going to do nothing. Your body's going to take it, it's going to process it, you're going to boo-boo it out. Just that simple. It's not going to be unhealthy. In order for that to be unhealthy, you would have to eat only that for a long time. Or maybe that and bread, maybe. And that would become unhealthy only because you ain't ate nothing else. That's the only way that could become unhealthy. The only way a Beyond Burger could become unhealthy is if you haven't eaten nothing else. This idea that you can eat healthy and eat something that automatically flip unhealthy is total nonsense. I'm just going to keep it real. Without having some kind of allergic reaction, I've been a vegan a long time. If I ate a piece of meat right now, it would not be unhealthy. How? It's just going to, so all my health is just going to become unhealthy? Seriously? When they talk about eggs and cholesterol, they ain't talk about one egg. They talk about you eat eggs for breakfast a lot. Eggs, a lot of eggs that create the cholesterol to become unhealthy. Now, the phony thing about plant-based meats, when they compare plant-based meat against regular meat, is nobody eats plant-based meat nowhere close to how people eat regular meat. I'm going to repeat that again. We're going to kill this guy. I'm going to get rid of that. Vegans that eat plant-based meat do not eat nowhere close to as much plant-based meat as we eat when we eat meat. And so today, if I have a Beyond Burger, if I'm really tripping, I might eat one for lunch. I'm gonna make another, I might have two. I'm not gonna have one tomorrow. When I was a meat eater, I get up in the morning, I have bacon or I have ham. Lunch, I have a hot dog or a hamburger. Dinner, I have meat. As a meat eater, I eat meat 3 times a day, 2 times a day at least, every day of my life. There is no plant-based meat that people eat every day, not even once a day. Nobody eats plant-based meat once a day for a month. Nobody. 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 There is no vegan that eats plant-based meat every day. That is a fact. Plant-based meat is not sold or marketed to even be eaten every day. When you buy it, you can tell it's only to be ate every now and then because there's not a lot of plant-based meat to eat like chicken, shrimp, fish, and stuff like that. That market doesn't even exist. Realistically. So they be said magic hocus pocus nonsense. Nobody eats plant-based meat anywhere like people eat regular meat. This is a silly conversation. There's nowhere you can go in the world, in no store, and see no plant-based meat sold like it should be eaten 3 times a day. You will not see plant-based meat sold like this. Show me anywhere where plant-based meat is displayed like this. Doesn't exist. Plant-based meat is not sold to be eaten every day. It's not marketed to be eaten every day. I challenge anybody to prove me wrong. Show me anywhere where plant-based meat is marketed to eat every day. So how are you going to compare the health of plant-based meat to meat when nobody hardly eats plant-based meat? Nobody hardly eats plant-based meat. Even people that eat plant-based meat don't eat it that much. I eat it, but not that much, not like that. I don't get up every day and run to the store to get no plant-based meat because I'm a vegan. I'm plant-based, and so I just eat to get full. So I might eat couscous. I might eat noodles. I might eat rice. I might eat beans. I might eat Brussels sprouts. I might eat broccoli. I got a lot of stuff because vegans and those of us who eat plant based, we eat more variety than meat eaters. Meat eaters are the ones who eat the same thing all the time. For them to be talking about plant based meat, the ones that eat the same thing day in and day out are meat eaters. The meat eaters don't have a lot to eat, they're on a limited diet. And that's a fact. They trying to figure out how chicken, beef, pork. They are trying to figure out how to eat chicken, beef, and pork, chicken, beef, and pork, chicken, beef, and pork every day, every day, every day. They might throw turkey in there or they might throw a fish or shrimp in there. But typically, meat eaters eat chicken, beef, and pork every day of their life. We don't eat Beyond Burgers every day. We don't eat plant-based meat hardly no days of our life. To be like very few. It's not even marketed to be eaten like that. It's not marketed. It's not even marketed to be eaten like that. Beyond Burger is marketed to be eaten every now and then. Beyond Burger is not marketed like this. Not at all. The whole conversation is ridiculous because they trying to see which one, what does this one have in it and what does that one have in it. But the point is, how often do you eat this one and how often do you eat this one? So how can you compare something that people eat rarely to something people eat every day? People eat animal meat every day. We don't eat plant-based meat every day. We go sometimes weeks without plant-based meat. Plant-based meats are not a part of vegan or plant-based way of eating. It's not even a part of it. That's not a part of our diet plan. Not at all. We eat lots of fruit and lots of vegetables, lots of beans, rice. Beans and rice. Pastas, noodles. That's what we eat. We don't eat no meat a lot. That's why when I look at the conversation, I say, you know, they gotta get me on these. They gotta get somebody been doing it for a while. I respect all the things, but you gotta get somebody that's got almost 50 years in the game to really break this down. I've been plant-based 50 years. In another year and a half, it'll be 50 years. Vegans, plant-based vegans, we don't eat no meat hardly like that. We don't eat plant-based meat in any kind of way where you could test our health based on it. So every time I see them compare them, they compare the cholesterol and stuff in this burger to this one and that, but they never compare how often do people eat this one and how often do people eat the other one. Where is that science? Because I don't see how you can give us a reading on our health if you can't give us a reading on how often we eat it. And we don't eat that like meat eaters eat meat. The typical meat eater, if they go by the American diet, and it's 7 days in a week, they would eat meat 21 times a week. That's 3 times 7. If you eat meat 3 times a day, 7 days a week, you would eat meat 21 times a week. There's no vegans eating plant-based meat no 21 times a week. It's not even marketed for that. That's not marketed like that. That's not in the store like this. So see, these is fake comparisons and fake fear mongering, because how am I eat a Beyond Burger and drop dead after eating vegetables for how many days? And like, let's make this make some sense. Like, seriously. Like, let's seriously make some sense. I've been eating all kind of fruits and vegetables now for how long? I haven't had a plant-based sandwich on. So if I eat that tomorrow, if I go get some plant-based chicken tomorrow, it's going to damage my health? Seriously? Seriously? Does that sound like that makes like any type of like real sense? How are they mixing these two together? I mean, seriously. That's not making much sense. So when I watched the presentation, it was good. But I'm like, so they need to get another point of view on that conversation. Because it's not making a lot of sense, to be honest with you, to me. The conversation is a little misguided, a little off. To me. I don't see where plant based meat is any type of problem whatsoever. I don't see enough consumption for it to be a problem. It's not sold to be a problem. It's not marketed to be a problem. And it's way too expensive to even think that somebody even have a possibility to eat that 2 to 3 times a day in order to compare that to meat that people absolutely do eat 2 or 3 times a day. It's not making a lot of sense. Not to me. And so they statistics on what it do to you and all that, those statistics are totally wrong because they never include how often you eat it. So I'm trying to figure out, how could you have a statistic comparing a plant-based meat to regular meat without comparing how often each one is eaten? That seems to me that that would be an inconclusive experiment. To me, and to me, it's very detrimental to make people think that they eat something here and there and it's unhealthy. That's false. What becomes unhealthy is negative food that's constantly being eaten constantly with no positive food. That is what is unhealthy. And that needs to be really taught, that unhealthy comes from constant use. A piece of candy not going to do something to you. What's going to do something to you is candy every day, candy 4 or 5 times a day. Okay? Food that's fattening not going to do something to you. It's not going to even make you fat. Fattening food makes you fat based on how often you eat it. And that's what makes you fat. What makes you fat is how often you eat it. I mean, realistic. Let's just be realistic. I mean, one of my favorite plant-based foods, I got certain companies I buy from. It's not going to do nothing to me. I buy Gardein. If I buy these Gardein crispy chickens and I make them, and I make some cabbage, and I make some broccoli or some Brussels sprouts, and I make some onions, maybe some beans, you're telling me that when I eat this is going to go in my body. It's going to negate the cabbage. It's going to negate the Brussels sprouts. And it's going to do something to me. What would you say to those meat eaters who say since variety is the key, then why is vegans don't try a piece of chicken every blue moon since it won't kill you? First off, vegans are ethical. So vegans don't not eat animals based on health. Vegans don't eat animals based on ethical reasons. That's the first thing. The second thing is when you get off of meat, it's nasty. It don't taste good. So a meat eater wouldn't understand. Once you don't eat meat for a while, you can't eat it. It don't taste good. It only tastes good because you raised on it. But if you get off of it, it don't taste good. It don't. It's nasty. And then if I'm eating this and I'm fine with this, why would I go eat some meat when I'm fine with this? What would be the purpose of eating the chicken? So that's the thing. But I wouldn't say eating the chicken gonna kill you though. I wouldn't say that. That's my point. I wouldn't say it'll kill you. That's my point. But vegans, we don't like bones and stuff on our plate. It's a lot more to it. Yeah, I don't want no bones. It become nasty. Because you train to eat meat. Your baby won't eat his sandwich. He'll eat the fries. But people by nature are fruitarians. People don't eat meat. People don't have the ability to eat meat. So that vegan will get that meat eater would get destroyed because they could not show me what people are designed to eat meat. People aren't designed to eat meat. That's a fact. People aren't designed to eat meat. People can't catch meat. People aren't designed to eat meat. That's a fact. There's nothing about them. They don't have teeth to eat meat. So a meat eater get destroyed over here because the meat eater does not have the speed to catch the meat. See, I got everything necessary to pick an apple, to eat a mango, to eat a watermelon. You don't have everything necessary to eat a cow. That cow has to be processed by somebody else for you to eat it. If I'm walking down the street and you walk down the street, you a meat eater, and I'm in nature like Hawaii or something, I can pick a mango, I can eat some guavas, I can eat some berries. If you see a pig, you got to go catch it, you got to cut it up, you got to go start a fire to cook it, and you got to pray it ain't full of parasites. If a fruit gets bugs in it, you can see it. If an animal get bugs and parasites, you can't see it. So if you're not designed to eat animals, not at all, and you can't grow a chicken like you could grow cabbage. I was just talking to a friend of mine about that. You can't provide as much meat to survive as plants. Because you can put some sweet potatoes, 2 sweet potatoes in the ground, and if you leave it there for a while, there'll be thousands of there'll be hundreds and hundreds of sweet potatoes on there. So meat is sold by the system. Fruits and vegetables is in nature. And the meat industry has taken away our fruits and vegetables, has made our world horrible. The meat industry and the stores have ruined our world because they can't raise enough chickens or whatever. So they've messed the land up where we can't grow our own food and all that. Because we would just grow our own food. We wouldn't want to go and wait for McDonald's to put it together. And typically, fruits and vegetables can go solo. Meat can't. So I would tell that person, why don't you just eat your meat by itself? That's what I would tell them. Why they ask me, why don't add no meat to my stuff? I would ask them, why don't you remove vegetables from your stuff? Why don't you remove spices and plants from your meat and just eat your meat just like that? Not to mention, I don't got to cook my food all the time. You got to cook yours. So a meat eater get destroyed because you got to cook that. I don't got to cook no apple. I don't got to cook no oranges. I don't got to cook. So that'd be a conversation they would lose. On top of that, the food that accompany they're the ones being, their accompaniment is what's horrible. The vegetarians and vegans and stuff, our accompaniments are fine. But when I used to eat meat, your accompaniments are horrible. You're the one eating fries. You're the one drinking artificial flavors, artificial coloring. And so what goes along with the meat eater way of eating is 1,000,000,000% unhealthy. The meat way of life is totally accompanied by unhealthy eating, 100,000,000,000%. So you'll get some meat eater that'll show me him cooking some steak and all that. He'll totally ignore McDonald's, White Castle, Burger King. He'll ignore that like that's not a part of his world. No, a part of your world is fast food, though. Fast food come out of the meat industry. Fast food don't come out of fruits and vegetables. Oh, my soul. Fast food don't come out of cherries and watermelons and stuff. Fast food come out of meat. Kentucky Fried Chicken, McDonald's, all that come out of the meat industry. That's the ones that got the poison. And so now, because they're mixed up with our food, all they animal waste is getting on our food every time you look up, right? The cabbage is hurting people and all that. That's from the animals. That's from the animal. That's from the animal projects. All of this cabbage recall and lettuce recall, that come from the animal. That come from the animals. That's sewage from the animals getting on in the plants. Okay. All that salmonella, all that recall. Right now, they just had the okra. No, it was one. I don't know if it was okra or something else. They had something else recall. Hold away. We got the lettuce. We had something else. The iceberg lettuce. Oh, the jalapeno peppers. The iceberg lettuce, the jalapeno peppers been recalled. All that come from that side. The iceberg, all that come from that side. Salmonella and all that come off of animals. All that's animal waste. All that's animal waste. All that's animal waste. That's why the lettuce is messed up. They messing up our food because they using animal fertilizer. They using animal fertilizer, and all of them bacteria and stuff that be in animal waste is getting on all the food because they trying to have a bunch of pigs and vegetables, and that water's running off, and that water's running from over there and running over here. Because you see, when you grow, they use a lot of manure. They use a lot of manure. And if the manure, if you need a lot of manure, because that's where they get the nitrogen, if you need a lot of manure and you got to start processing it quick, you don't got time for it to thoroughly dry. So if you ain't got time for it to thoroughly dry and you put it on your food or on your herb, you could get sick, right? So when you grow herb, we use manure, right? So let's say we'll have a piece of metal like this, right? Sometimes the one with the ripples in it. And you get the cow manure or the horse manure, both of them, and you put it on this metal like this, right? Now, when you put it on this metal, you sit it in the sun. Now, when it's sitting in the sun, you got to turn that manure. You got to turn that manure. If it's going to rain, you got to cover it. Because if it get wet, you got to start all over again. Now, if you look at the cow manure and the horse manure, as the sun shine on it, at first it looked like boo-boo, right? As you keep it in the sun and turn it, right, it starts to slowly look like grass and hay. As the manure part starts drying up and come to dust, you begin to see the hay and the grass that the animal ate. Facts. and not and when you can pick it up and do that and it's all dust, that's when you could use it for fertilizer. But if you use it for fertilizer and it's still got moisture in it, it's still got uh, bacteria and stuff in it. So if you put it on your crops too early and you put that manure on your crops too early and your crops is like this, and some of that dust get down between the cracks and the crevices of your lettuce, of your broccoli, and it get washed or cleaned, but it don't get all of that little manure in there, and it goes to market, people gonna get sick. Lots of people. And then people say the broccoli make you sick too. No, that was horse boo boo. And that was pig boo boo that made you sick. Let's get it straight. That wasn't the vegetables. That's not the vegetables making you sick. That's the animal byproduct making you sick. There's nothing on those vegetables that would naturally make you sick. That's animal waste from fertilizer. Facts. So when they say something's wrong with the vegetables too, no. It's your world, your meat eating world, and all that boo boo and all that stuff. That's what's making everybody sick. Yeah, that's what's polluting. That's what's polluting the water. That's what's polluting everything with salmonella and everything. Boo boo from cows, pigs, and horses, and chickens, and turkeys, and all that other stuff you're trying to eat. That's a fact. And so, if you're trying to grow too much herb, you got to hurry up and get more boo boo, and now you're going to be using it for it dry. It's got to thoroughly dry. You're supposed to put some gloves on, and when you pick that boo boo up and do that, it's supposed to turn to all dust. Now it's ready to be fertilized. But if it's any moisture, it's toxic. You can't put it on your plants. Not really, especially no plants you got to eat. And so, in terms of plant-based meats, there's nothing wrong with plant-based meats. Plant-based meats are often considered healthier than animal meats because they contain zero cholesterol, less saturated fat, and beneficial dietary fiber, while animal products supply these fats and cholesterol. Plant alternatives utilize ingredients like peas and soy to improve heart health markers. Heart health benefits, no cholesterol. Plant foods do not contain dietary cholesterol, which help keeps our arteries clear. Less saturated fat, swapping red meat for plant options lowers bad LDL cholesterol levels. More fiber. Traditional meat has zero fiber, but plant options add fiber to support digestion and gut health. Nutritional differences. Lower calorie density. Many plant patties provide fewer calories per serving than fatty beef cuts. Added nutrients. Brands often fortify products with vitamins and minerals like iron. Similar protein. They offer competitive protein amounts using pea, soy, or wheat protein. So, in terms of them questioning plant protein when horses and cows eat plants is stupid. It's crazy. Because you say, well, how you get your protein? And it's like, well, how do a horse get protein? Horse don't even know how a gorilla get protein. See, this is where the conversation gets silly. Because if you eat animals, those animals are getting protein from plants. Then you turn around and say, you need animals to get protein, but the animals didn't need animals to get protein. So now make like some type of sense. How could you tell me I need animals to get protein when the animals didn't need animals to get protein? Horses don't get protein from animals. Cows do not get protein from animals. So how do I need the cow to get protein from the cow when the cow don't need a cow to get protein? Make it make some kind of sense. Make it make some sense. It doesn't make any type of sense at all, really. And when you look at the push and pull, the push is from the meat eaters. And we're not pushing against meat eaters. We're pushing against bad health. Meat eaters want to challenge us. We don't challenge meat eaters. My concept is not has anything to do with meat. It has everything to do with your health. And that goes for other things too, like overeating, being overweight, and all that type of stuff. The obesity problem we got comes from the meat eater society. There's no obesity problem from a vegan society because we don't have a vegan society. So because we got a meat eating society and we have all this obesity, what society does obesity come from? I repeat, if we have a meat eating society and we have extreme obesity everywhere, which society is responsible for all this obesity? Because it ain't no vegan society. The world is meat eaters. And when you go to places like Thailand and India, where they heavy vegetarians and vegan, they don't got obesity. I'm just saying. So there's not, when I come and talk, I'm not anti-meat. I don't care nothing about meat. I'm just pro-health and telling you what you need to do to be healthy. But that's a decision you got to make. And that's the difference between a meat argument, G-Rod, and my argument. The meat eaters are fighting to keep meat relevant. We on health. We ain't on that. That's why a meat eater would say, well, why don't you mix some chicken with it? For what purpose? You know what I'm saying? Mix some chicken with it for what exactly? Just to eat chicken? You know what I'm saying? Like for what? Like mix chicken with my stuff for what? I've been a vegan since 1978. I'm 68 years old. I'm in much better shape than millions of people. Millions. At 68, you take a lot of these black men, you put us on some stairs to walk to the 10th floor. I bet I get there first. I'm going to get there way before they get there. They can't walk no test. You know what I mean? You know how many overweight fat people is out there? We have a health epidemic. Seriously. So there is no meat being sold like this. which means that plant-based meat is not in a, a comparison to this meat because plant-based meat is not being eaten as much as regular meat. Vegans and vegetarians and plant-based, we eat a lot of other stuff. Meat is not needed. So we don't need a lot of plant-based meat. That's something we eat every now and then. I'm just trying to let the vegans know that they balance against something that's not really a problem, but they losing money. The meat industry is losing money. The dairy industry is losing money. Dairy sales down, meat sales down, all across the world, all in Europe. Dairy down, cheese down, meat down, fish down, chicken down. So, G-Rod, their discussions about it is economically trying to save themselves. And even though all they sells are down, medical problems is up, obesity is up, overweight is up, cancer is up, prostate cancer up, breast cancer up, stomach cancer up, 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 up. The dominant society eat meat and the stuff, and the dominant society sicknesses is up. It's real simple, open and closed case. The dominant society eat a lot like this, and the dominant society sicknesses is up. Diabetes up, stroke, heart attack, cancer up. It's up. Why isn't this fighting it? If this is so healthy, if the way y'all eat is so healthy, why isn't it fighting cancer and diabetes? I'm supposed to ask them that. Why is your way of eating not doing anything for you health wise? Why are you so sickly? Because the meat society is sick. Extremely. And really young. Really young. And there's a lot of addiction with that because artificial flavors, artificial chemicals, preservative have an addiction effect too. You're not going to get addicted to no pineapple. You're not going to get addicted to watermelon. You'll get addicted to candy and cookies, though. Luther Vandross said he used to have a bag of those little Snickers. The little Snickers in the bag. And he said he would just keep eating them until they be gone. That's why he had a weight problem. He was addicted to all them chemicals in the candy. The candy, the cookies, that stuff is real addictive. Plant-based stuff is not addictive. Bananas are not addictive. Cherries, not addictive. You won't just keep eating cherries. You'll eat so many cherries and you'll put them down. And it might be a while before you go eat some more cherries. You will not just keep eating grapes and keep eating grapes or watermelon. There is not one fruit and vegetable you'll just keep eating. But stuff like cake and all these artificial candies and all that, you'll just keep eating that stuff. You'll eat way more than that stuff than is good for you. And so in terms of plant-based meats, my point I'm making is we don't eat that like that. And so every time they try to compare the lifestyle of plant-based meats to real meats, it's fake. It's fake. Vegans don't eat plant-based meat like that. Like the Beyond Burger is not healthy. Bro, we don't eat that like that. We don't eat that enough to be unhealthy. It's definitely not unhealthy. Plant-based meats are not unhealthy because we don't eat them enough to be unhealthy. That's a fact. Nobody can argue that. I could take them to a store and take their money. They can look at the price of it. No, they can look how it's sold. It's not even sold like this. This is sold for you to eat a lot of it. Plant-based meat is not sold in a way for you to eat a lot of it. Beyond Burgers are not sold to be eat as much as hamburgers. There's no McDonald's, Beyond Burger McDonald's or nothing like that. That's not being marked. That's not even a fair comparison. They comparing one thing that's got a whole different lifestyle to it to another thing. Plant-based meats ain't gonna do nothing to you because you ain't gonna eat them enough. And what they accompany with is gonna offshoot anything that might not be all the way there. If you eat some plant-based meats and you ate some Brussels sprouts and all that, you think the plant-based meat is gonna overrun the Brussels sprouts and the cabbage and all that? No, that meat gonna get lost in the sauce with all that nutrition. That nutrition gonna dominate. That's just something what your parents used to say to get you full. I'll give you the perfect example to prove what I'm saying. Let's take regular meat. Same thing I'm saying about vegan. When I was growing up, meat was not like it is now. I repeat, when I was growing up, I was born in 1958. When I was growing up in the 60s and the 70s, meat in the home wasn't like it was now. Meat wasn't nothing. Ask some old people. Meat was nothing. When I was growing up, meat wasn't nothing. Meat wasn't no big deal like it is now. Your mama tells you don't touch that meat. Eat your food. If your mama would give you a plate and you start eating the chicken, your mama would say, put that chicken down and eat your food. The chicken wasn't considered food. The chicken was just considered to add to the food to get you full. But the chicken wasn't detrimental. Why? Because the chicken in your stomach surrounded by black-eyed peas, string beans, sweet potatoes, corn on the cob. So now the chicken doesn't have such a negative effect because it's only 1/5 of your food, 1/6. So it's not able to overpower and create any type of damaging effect. It can't unhealthy the corn. It can't unhealthy the okra. The piece of chicken you ate get lost in the sauce. It can't make the rest of the food unhealthy. But when you going to eat the way they eat now, they getting chicken, bread, and coleslaw. There's nothing healthy. So the chicken can unhealthy everything. That's a fact. That's the difference in old school meat eating and meat eating now. When people ate meat back in the 60s, it was a small portion of the dinner, so it did not have the negative effect. You did not see no bunch of fat people in the 60s. In the same way that meat couldn't overpower them black-eyed peas and all that, is the same way plant-based meat can't overpower our vegetables. And the plant-based meat is better for you than the chicken. By far. Because the difference in the plants and the animals is a corpse, and the corpse is always slowly rotting. When a plant rots, it becomes quicker digestible. When meat rot, it becomes more harder and more, harder to pass, more deadly too. And so when they compare plant-based meats to animal meats, my point is it's not fair because plant-based meats don't get ate as much as animal meats. So it's not really a fair comparison. We don't eat plant-based meats like regular meat. That's the main point I'm trying to make. Plant-based meat don't get ate 3 times a day, 7 days a week. Plant-based meats get ate rarely. And so when they compare the two, they compare them as if they both get ate the same way and the same amount of times. That's an unfair comparison. That's not a realistic scientific comparison. Not one bit. And that point's got to be made. You know? Because people just saying anything. They saying stuff that ain't really like realistic. It's like make-believe stuff. Like if I go to the store and let's say I get some tofurkey or something, there's no way that this is going to get eaten like its meat counterpart. This is something we're going to go to the store and buy it. Let's say we go shopping on Tuesday, the first week in March. You know how long it might be before we buy this again? Because we don't buy plant-based vegans. We don't buy our food like meat eaters. We eat more of a variety. I'm not necessarily going to go back to the store and buy this again for who knows how long. It's not like hot dogs. Meat eaters are programmed, so they're going to always keep hot dogs in the refrigerator. They're going to always keep, they are programmed in a repetitive mentality. Plant-based vegans, we don't live on that repetitive mentality because we can't. You say, why can't you? Because we eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. And you can only buy the fruits and vegetables that's ready to be bought. So if you're buying hot dogs, every time you go, it's the same hot dog. But if you're buying broccoli, the broccoli you buy this week, that broccoli might not look as good next week. So next week when I go to the store, I look at the broccoli. I'm like, now I look at the cauliflower. Oh, the cauliflower look better. So typically plant-based vegans eat way more variety because plants ain't consistent like meat. See what I'm saying? Meat is consistent. A hot dog will always look like a hot dog. A hamburger will always look like a hamburger. But cabbage ain't going to always look like the same cabbage. Y'all ever go to the store, see that big, nice-looking green or red cabbage? And then you go back to the store the next month and the red cabbage be all little. You don't buy that one. You're like, So we have a tendency to switch up because we buy what look the best. Because we buy less already put together food. Meat eaters buy a lot of already put together stuff. They meat always packaged like this. We don't eat like that. If we go and we look at the apples and the Honey Crisp look better than the green ones, we're going to get the Honey Crisp. If the pomegranates look real good, we're going to grab that. Sometimes we'll look at the pineapple. It don't look so good. We don't get it. So that's the great thing about eating fruits and vegetables, because the fruits and vegetables dictate which one you're going to buy based on how it looks. See, this meat, they can make it look the same every time with dye and tricks. And that's why fruits and vegetables is better, because you're going to definitely eat a variety. You know, I like to buy limes a lot. But sometimes when I go to the store, the limes is green, real green, and too hard. Don't look like they got no juice, but the lemons was popping. So I grabbed the lemons. But if you're drinking a pre-made concentrated juice, you're going to buy that same juice every time for your whole life. Oh, let me get my favorite juice. Let me get my favorite juice. So you don't really eat like we eat. We eat way more variety. So we're not going to buy. I don't know nobody that buy plant. I don't know no vegans that buy plant-based meat every time they go to the store. Not that I know of. Because our plates don't have meat on it a lot of times. We don't. You know, the concept is messed up. We don't be buying meat. We don't be buying plant-based meat like that. Meat, the concept of meat is not a part of how we eat. That's a meat eater's mindset. They got to have chicken. They got to have beef. They got to have pork. That's a part of their plate. That's not a part of our plate. Our plate is mostly vegetables, beans, and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. Our plates are not always distributed the same way. So it's not a really good comparison when they compare animal meat to plant based meat, because they're not eating in the same way. Plus, a lot of vegans and vegetarians, we don't eat 3 times a day. Some of us only eat once a day or twice a day. Like we might eat once today. Tomorrow we might eat twice. We also snack a lot. A plant-based vegan snack a lot. Because we be having a lot of fruit, stuff like that. We have a lot of fruit that we eat. We have bananas. We'll have some dates laying around. So we have a tendency to, not be hungry the same way, because we always have raw food that we can eat. So we don't necessarily eat just basic standard 3 times a day. We'll eat 3 times a day, but it's different. Then a lot of times, plant-based vegan, we drink and we get full from drinking. Like me, I got this nitric oxide. If I drink this, I'm not going to really be hungry. Liquids, kind of wipe out the hunger. So that's why when you was a kid, your mama take you to Burger King or McDonald's. She tell you, put that soda down. Because if you drink that soda, you ain't going to eat your food. So a lot of times we drink a lot. We drink a lot. We hydrate a lot. See how much I drank? So you're not going to necessarily be as hungry. So when they make these comparisons, they got to do a better job. Plant-based meats are often considered healthier than animal meats because they contain zero cholesterol, less saturated fat, and beneficial dietary fiber, while animal products supply these fats and cholesterol. Plant alternatives utilize ingredients like peas and soy to improve heart health markers. Heart health benefits, no cholesterol. Plant foods do not contain dietary cholesterol, which helps keep arteries clear. Less saturated fat. Swapping red meat for plant options lowers bad LDL cholesterol levels. More fiber. Traditional meat has zero fiber, but plant options add fiber to support digestion and gut health. Nutritional differences, lower calorie density. Many plant patties provide fewer calories per serving than fatty beef cuts. Added nutrients. Brands often fortify products with vitamins and minerals like iron. Similar protein. They offer competitive protein amounts using pea, soy, and wheat protein. So, do we have any questions? Hit me with some questions, and I can try to give you some answers. Once again, go watch the more in depth discussion on this on Plant Based News. Tell them Vegan Intel sent you over there. It's a great discussion. Really. My frustration with the Beyond Meat debate by Dr. Garth Davis. Go check it out. It's great. It's a really great discussion. A lot of information. Make sure you go check that out. Make sure you check that out. Lots of great information in that discussion. Okay, we can take a few questions. If you got some questions, let me know. I'm willing to take a few questions. The nitric oxide I was just drinking is from this company right here. It's really great. Okay. Check it out. I think it's redesigned now. But Snap, nitric oxide, organic beets. And it's got other plants in it. Men, you definitely should be taking this. You should be drinking this regularly. Okay? To help with your circulation and your sex drive. I kind of change up on my plant-based meats a lot. So they change up. I don't eat the same ones all the time. Like this product here, I haven't had in probably over a year, but it is good though. I use them to go with beans or to go with rice. So I use them as uh, just accompaniments, you know. I don't use them as a main course. I use them to go with my rice or my beans or the rest of my food to give my food more, make my food more round. But it's never really the main base of my food. Recently, I've been doing a lot of tofu because I'm trying to put on some muscle. So recently, I've been doing tofu really heavy. We got any questions? If we got any questions, let me know. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, support the channel. Make sure you subscribe. There's a lot of ways you can get your protein too. So you don't have to be worrying about where you're going to get your protein. You can get protein from your pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds provide a lot. Pumpkin seeds also is good for health, hair growth. All right. One of the superfoods they don't tell you about that I got to introduce more is just I got to get used to the taste is spirulina. Spirulina is like a superfood, but I can't. I'm trying to just make myself drink it. It's so strong, it overpowers everything. But I'm gonna just force myself to drink it next month. Well, really next week. I'm gonna force myself to start drinking it next week to as I start bulking up again. Tempeh, I've been doing tempeh a lot, mixing it in with my tofu or my stuff I cook. So I've been added tempeh to my food to bring more protein into my food to bulk up. So tempeh is something that I've been added. I'm showing you stuff in case you want to bulk up, build more muscle, right? Get your strength up. Another thing that can help you get your strength up is nutritional yeast. Try to make sure it's really yellow. Don't like this. Don't get it if it's a dull yellow. And so it's hard to find it bright like this, but that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the nutritional yeast that's bright, that's got some brightness to it. Another thing that you should automatically be making sure you deal with regularly. You could take breaks here and there. Is hemp hearts, hemp seeds. These you should be blending up in your blender when you make your protein shakes to get your protein up, to get your muscle up, to get your strength. Okay? These are the things that the animals be using. Now, another thing, especially ladies, make sure, and men, make sure you too, but especially your queen, make sure that she is getting blackstrap molasses in some water at least once or twice a week, like every Monday and Thursday. This is the robust one. But if or you could get the more regular one. It don't have to be this brand, but you want her to get her iron. Okay. This is going to make, especially if she has a baby. If she just had a baby. If your woman had a baby within the last, if she's pregnant, don't necessarily give it to her. Wait till she had a baby. After she had a baby, don't give it to her right away either. You don't want to mess up the taste of her breast milk. But when the baby get off the titty, put the mama on this because the mama that lost a lot of iron. Okay, remember that mommy has gave the baby bones, blood, everything. So your woman, when she's pregnant, you have a baby, she's depleted of nutrients. So begin to put those nutrients back in. Make sure she take a multiple vitamin, a clean, healthy multiple vitamin. And after she start breastfeeding, because I don't want to mess up the taste of the milk, the baby won't drink it. Then make her take a little bit of blackstrap molasses, at least at first, if she just had the baby and the baby get off the titty, then I would do this every like 4 days. Every week, like pick 2 days a week, like Sunday and Wednesday. Just like a little teaspoon in a full glass of water. No more than that, it'll make her constipated. But she's going to be short on iron and she's going to be short on nutrients. The baby done stripped her. Men, you should be taking it too anyway, once or twice a month. You should be taking it. All right? You want to make sure you get your protein. That's going to be very important. Very important. Any questions? If we don't have no questions, then I hope you all have a great day. Like I said, look, spirulina, seitan, tempeh, hemp seeds, soybeans, edamame. These things can help you a lot, okay? To get your strength up. Good seeing you, Lady Lioness. Nutritional yeast, pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, almonds, peanuts, and lentils. Once again, spirulina, seitan, tempeh, hemp seeds, soybeans, and edamame. 2 nutritional yeast, pumpkin and squash seeds, chia seeds, almonds, peanuts, and lentils. Men, get some Brazilian nuts. Only eat 1 a day. They got too much selenium in it. But the selenium is what you need for your sex drive. So men, get you some Brazil nuts. Ladies, get your man some Brazil nuts. Make sure he eat only 1 a day. He can eat 2 one day out the week, but you don't want to eat 2 every day. But one day you can eat 2, especially if you spread them out, you know what I mean? But for sure, 1 every day you think about it. You might forget, but every day you think about it, man, 1 Brazilian nut. Right? So a bag gonna last you a long time. You're gonna get your selenium in that, okay? Brazilian nuts, all right? Once again, ladies, make sure you take your blackstrap molasses. You don't have to get the robust. You can get the regular one, 1 teaspoon in a nice glass of water. Stir it up. Men too. Good to see you, White Flame. Ladies, especially because y'all bleed once a month. Ladies, please listen to me. Take your blackstrap molasses at least once a week, at least, but you could take it twice a week, just spread it out like Monday and Thursday. Okay? You need it. You have periods every month. You got to put that iron back, ladies. And it's the best way to do it. Men, you should be taking it too. We need iron. Okay? You need to take this. Men, you could take it twice, 1 week, and then once a week after that. Women, you could do that too. You could take it twice, like the first week of the month, and then every week after that, just once a week, because you don't want to get constipated. Iron make you constipated. That's why iron tablets. Doctor give you iron. It's gonna make you constipated. This is the best way. Okay, you won't necessarily get constipated. Ladies, if you had a period, let's say you have a period the second month, then take it twice the second week of the month. Let's say it's April, the second week, and you have your period. Take it twice the second week. Take it twice the third week. So you're going to take it once the week before that happened, then twice when it come down, then twice that next week, and then back to once. Right, ladies? So always go twice when you bled. When you bled, twice a week. Spread it out like 3 days apart. Because that's iron. You just lost iron, ladies. You got to put the iron back. Okay? You got to put the iron back, queens. Also, ladies, put in that iron back. Making sure you take your calcium, your plant-based calcium once a month. Making sure you take your multiple vitamins. That's going to stop you from shrinking. Okay, ladies? See, ladies start balling up and shrinking. You ever see them old ladies out there all bent over? That's what's going to happen. So if you want to be up, breast perky, back straight, you got to put the calcium back in there. You got to put the multiple vitamins. You have to. Also, you need to get your sea moss. Right? You need to get your sea moss. Okay? You need to get your sea moss. Off the top, ladies. I get my sea moss from bread. Okay? Molasses definitely helps reverse gray hair. Sometimes. Depending on how old you are. So also Get your sea moss. I haven't taken it in a while. I'm going to order some next week because I'll be taking a break from it. I get my sea moss from Red's Kitchen. Okay? Red's Kitchen Sink.com. Red's Kitchen Sink. This is who I trust because you want to get wild crafted. Don't let nobody sell you no sea moss that's wet. That's that sea moss that they put together, they sell. You want to get the wild crafted sea moss. I get mine from this company right here, Red's Kitchen Sink. The purple sea moss tastes like the ocean. Right? I'm going to order both of them in a couple days. But if you ain't used to it, don't get this one. Of course, when you get the sea moss, you're going to take like a third of this bag. You're going to put it in some water and soak it. Then once you soak it, then you're going to take it. Really, this bag, you could probably get almost a half of it. You're going to soak it. Once you soak it and it gets soaked and it swell all the way up, you're going to take it, you're going to put it in the blender. And when you put it in the blender, you're going to blend it a little bit of water at a time. So when you put it in the blender, you're going to put it in there a little bit at a time. Okay? A little bit at a time. This is the purple one I was telling you about. You're going to put it in there a little bit at a time so it can really get blended up. You don't want to put a whole bunch of water at one time. You just keep adding water until it's all blended up. Then you pour it in a glass bowl, put a top on it, put it in the refrigerator till it gel. But that, whatever's left in the blender, pour your juice or whatever in there and blend that up and drink that. So whatever's left in the blender, you just pour some juice in there or whatever you want and blend that up and drink that. I usually make a protein shake in it. Like I said, this purple is, a little strong. The gold one is going to be not so strong. I would advise the gold one. Also with them, you're going to get more with the gold for cheaper. I think maybe now. I think not now. I think they dropped the price. Let me see, 8 ounces. See, this is only 4 ounces. See, the purple's way more expensive. So this is 4 ounces for $20. Go on ahead and get the 8 ounces for the $24. The purple's a little strong. Now I'm going to order both of them and I order them. As long as you keep it sealed up and dry, it'll last you a while. This one, with this one, if you get this one, you put a third of it. You should get 3 things out. You put a third of it in a blender, and that's going to make you a full blender. But you don't put it right in the blender. You take a third of this, you soak it in water so it swell up. So a third of that is going to swell up and fill up a big old bowl. Just a third of it. It's going to swell up a lot. So make sure you fill up your bowl with water. Then you take a third of it and throw it down there in that water. Then it's going to swell up. Leave it like overnight or leave it 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. If you do it in the morning, be ready in a few hours, whichever way. Then you take it out and you rinse it. Then you put it in the blender. It's going to be fat. You ain't going to believe it. You're going to get 3 big whole things of it that are going to last you for a long time. And you just add water and blend it. Add water. Now this is going to give you all of the minerals and nutrients that's in the human body except a few. And you can order some bladderwrack. And if you put a little bit of bladderwrack with it, you will have every nutrient that's supposed to be in the body. The bladderwrack, you don't have to make the day before. You could be soaking that while you're doing this. So the bladderwrack, you want to buy that and soak that. Don't buy the powder. Buy the actual like leaf. Let me show you the bladderwrack. If you do the sea moss and put a little bit of bladderwrack in there, every time you make it, you'll have every nutrient that's supposed to be in the human body. Okay, this is the bladderwrack. You don't want to get no powder. Don't get no powder. You don't want no bladderwrack powder. You want the bladderwrack raw. Don't buy the powder. Okay? You want the bladderwrack raw. You don't want no powder. You don't want no powder. You don't want them to blend it up. You want to soak it. It's going to look like this. This is what it's going to look like when you soak it. This picture on the right. That's what it's going to look like when you soak it. Okay? It's going to look like that. That's what the bladderwrack going to look like. You want it raw. And you're going to soak it. And you could be soaking that while you getting ready to blend up your sea moss. And you just put it in every batch you make. Or you could with this instead of, don't put it like when you make your big jug of sea moss, right? When you make your big jug of sea moss, don't put the bladderwrack in that. When you make the big tub, like when you first soak it, because when you soak your sea moss, you're gonna have enough to fill up a jug. Let me show you. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So that sea moss I told you to get, you're going to take a third of it. It's going to be real skinny. And you're going to put it in this. Something this size. You're going to put it in there and fill it with water. You can do it at night. Or you can do it in the morning. And when you go back, it's going to be to fill this up. Just that little bit. Just that third of that bag. When it swell up, it's going to be filled. That's why you got to have this full with water. Because it's going to swell all the way up. And once this amount swell up, then you're going to take this whole amount and you're going to put it in the blender, right? And you're going to add a little water, 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 right? So you're going to take all of this, you're going to dump all the water out when it's ready, you're going to rinse it, and you're going to have this big gel-looking sea moss. Then you're going to take the whole glob and put it in the blender. Then you're going to put a little water, a little water, a little water. First it's going to be spinning. It ain't going to catch it all, but be patient. You're going to put a little water, a little water, a little water, a little water. As you keep going, it's going to come up and you're going to start seeing it turn to a gel. And you're going to put enough water, so if you got a blender like this, it's going to be all the way up here, spinning, of sea moss. When it's done, you're going to take that sea moss and pour it back in here, put the top on it, and put it in the refrigerator. And it's going to turn to a gel. Now, the sea moss that's still all around in the blender, you're going to take your, whatever you want to drink. Like me, I'll take my chocolate protein milk, put it in there and blend it up and make me a quick protein shake. Put my protein powder and all that, but you can put a juice or whatever. Don't rinse the sea moss out. Go ahead and put some in there and drink it. Now, when you make that first drink, if you want to, you could take that bladder rack and you can soak that bladder rack like you're going to soak like 2 pieces the size of this right here. And you're going to put that in the one you finna drink. Don't put that one in your final gel because you want the bladder rack to be fresh every time you make your drink you're going to drink. Because this is going to make you a lot of drink because you're going to take a scoop out. After that, you're only going to be taking a scoop of your sea moss out of here. This going to be enough sea moss for a long time. Just a third of a bag. Going to fill this up on my soul to about this high. Just a third of a bag. And you're going to be able to scoop this for a long time. Then when it's gone, you take another third of a bag, do it, fill this up again. It's going to last you a long time. You're going to get a lot of sea moss. But don't put the bladder rack in here. Put the bladder rack every time you make your drink that's going to go in your jar or your glass that you're going to make from a scoop of this. So every time you're going to take a scoop of this and put it in the blender and blend up what you're going to drink. And that's when you soak the bladder rack and put it in your fresh drink you're going to drink. Don't have the bladder rack sitting in the sea moss. The sea moss is going to be fine, but you want the bladder rack to be potent every time you make your separate drink. All right? Everybody understand? You don't really need the burdock root. Just go with the bladder rack and the sea moss. That's all you need. The burdock could be just like overkill. The sea moss and the bladder rack is going to have every nutrition, every nutrient that the body needs. It's going to be in those two. I swear to God. On everything I love. And man, you're going to be feeling great. Ladies, your nails going to grow like crazy. See, I have to cut my nails. Anybody know me know I never cut my nails. But since I've been working out and taking more vitamins and stuff, I got to cut my nails because they're growing too fast. They're growing like crazy. They're growing like crazy. I have to cut my nails. And what I do is I'll use the sea moss because I'm going to order it today. It'll come in, I'll use it. It'll take me a long time to use it up. Just that one little bag. I swear to God, y'all, on everything I love, that one little bag gonna last you so long. Because a third of this bag is gonna fill this whole thing. Just a third. So you'll be able to fill this 3 times. Okay? You'll be able to fill this up 3 times. Right? And once you fill this up, you're making a scoop at a time. So you're going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're probably going to make 12, 13, 14 pictures of your drink with this, because whatever drink you're going to make, you're just going to put a big lump of this, one of them big spoons. right? One of them big kitchen spoons. You're going to take a big scoop of that and put it in whatever you're drinking. If it's your wife or your husband, whatever they drinking, you're going to take a scoop of that and put it in their drink. And you're going to make them a drink about this size. Make sure it's about this much, right? And they just let them sip on it. Let them drink it. You're going to get a whole bunch of scoops. So for this $24, you're going to get sea moss for a long time. And every time you take the gel going to be in here. You're going to take a scoop of the gel and put it in the blender to make your drink you're going to drink that day. Every time you make this drink, that's when you put a piece of bladderwrack in there, because the sea moss is going to be fresh. And now you're going to put the fresh bladderwrack with every drink. You don't want the bladderwrack to be in here with the sea moss. You want the bladderwrack to be when you take the sea moss gel, because the sea moss gel going to last stronger, stay strong because it's a gel, than the bladderwrack. The bladderwrack seems to be, if you don't do it fresh, it's going to be losing potency. Sea moss ain't losing no damn potency. None. But the bladderwrack might lose some potency. So I would advise you to not do the bladderwrack until you get ready to make your drink. Like me, I'm going to take the sea moss and put it in my my drinks. Now, let me show you one of my drinks. Right? All right, so my drink, when I start my workout back next week, that I'm going to put my sea moss with, my drink is, the base is going to be my Silk Protein soy milk. 13 grams of protein per serving. This is going to be my base. In that, I'm going to put my plant-based protein powder, right? So this is going to give me 20 grams of plant protein per serving. This is chocolate. So I'm going to put my protein powder with this. I'm going to put my scoop of sea moss in there and my bladderwrack in there, right? Also, I'm going to put my creatine, monohydrate. I'm going to put a scoop of my creatine in there. This is going to help build the muscle, okay? I'm going to put my new baby high flavanol cocoa, okay? This is the magic. This is what you call real chocolate, right? like real chocolate, okay? This is it. So imagine what this is going to taste like with this chocolate milk. And this is really it, okay? Make sure you get the right company, okay? All right? Make sure you get the right company. All right? Make sure you get this one. Black Forest, okay? This is one of the hottest products out right now. All right? High flavanol cocoa. Look, 1,200 mg per serving. Make sure you get to 1,200 if you want to get out like Big Pharaoh. I'm gonna put a scoop of that in there. So I got my soy. I got my sea moss gel in there, right? I got the sea moss gel. I got the 13 grams of serving of silk. I used to be drinking the other one, but then they wanted to get my money, so they went up to 13 grams. I always go for the most. Once again, I'm going to have my creatine powder in there. This is going to help take moisture to the muscles, right? And I'm going to have my L-glutamine in there, okay? I get this from Sports Research. And I'm going to have my protein powder in there. So it's a super drink. It's got the sea moss, it's got the bladder rack, it's got the protein powder, 20 grams of protein. It's got my L-glutamine in there to get the most out of my workout. It's going to have all my protein from my shake, from my milk, right? It's going to have all my flavonols in it, right? From my pure cocoa. Once again, 1,200 mgs, okay? And it's going to have my creatine in there. So that's why I'm 68, but I'm still on dummy, right? And I'm going to blend that up and drink that when I start hitting my workout again. I haven't worked out now in about, I would say 4 months. I had to take a break. So I'll be back on it one of these days coming up. Probably when I get my stuff in the mail, when I get my sea moss in the mail and all that, I'll probably start then. So I get my sea moss in the mail, get my bladder rack in the mail, and I'll be making these super powerful drinks that I drink in the morning. I drink that in the morning if I can. But whenever I'm getting ready to work out, I'll drink it. So I'll drink it right before my workout. Right? And then after my workout, I'll get a glass like this and I'll put like a half a tablespoon of salt in it. Teaspoon. A half a teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon of what's it called? New salt? Yeah. I think it's a teaspoon. I'll get some water and I'll put like I forgot. Hold on. Let me give you that right. I mix this new salt with the sea salt. And I'll put it in a big jug of water and I drink that all day. That's going to hydrate the muscles. Okay. Let me get the right amount. Let me get the right amount. I don't want to tell y'all the wrong amount. Probably saved it in my pictures. Here I go. 3/4 tablespoon of this new salt, and then I use a 1/2 tablespoon of my diamond crystal. Teaspoon. These are teaspoons, I'm wrong. 3/4 teaspoons of this new salt, 3/4 of a teaspoon, and a 1/2 teaspoon of diamond crystal. I put that in a big old gallon of water. And I drink that water. And that's going to hydrate your muscles because you got to have that salt in your body. They don't tell you that, but it's got to be the right salt. Okay? So 3/4 salt of new, 3/4 teaspoon of new salt, and a 1/2 teaspoon of like a diamond crystal. And you're gonna be straight. And that's gonna give you hydration to those muscles after you do your workout. Seriously. You gotta chug that water all day. All right. So I get you a little measurement. Every now and then, even if you do that, get a glass of water and just put you like a 1/2 teaspoon of some like really good diamond crystal salt in there. You got to get the salt and water into your body to hydrate. They don't tell you that. You got to do that. They don't tell you that. The reason they tell you salt ain't no good for you because it was a fake table salt. It wasn't real salt. So if you mix 3/4 teaspoons of new salt and 1/2 teaspoon of diamond crystal or whatever good sea salt you got, put that in a gallon of water and just drink on that. You ain't gonna hardly taste it in there, but your body gonna find it. Your body gonna find it. That's if you're working out. But I would do it even if you're not working out. I would do it. You know what I'm saying? I would do it anyway. Because we not hydrating. Think of it like this. Most of the time you'll be living by the ocean, right? And when you go in the ocean, that's salt water going in your nose and everything, right? Exactly. That's the same amount you're gonna get from being in the ocean. Why is there salt in the ocean? And why is your body so clean when you come out the ocean? And why all the mucus come out your nose? And why your eyes and everything get clean once you go in the ocean? It's that salt. All right. So that's game right there. Send it to everybody. All right. Support the channel. All right. Like, share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell. And we're about to turn up. It's going to be a lot of information over here. victory and go vegan.
Peace, health, and longevity. If you want to consume more plant-based foods, if you want to abstain from junk foods, if you want to consume fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and herbs, and avoid dead flesh, artificial flavors and colorings, sweeteners, anything that is unreal basically, purchase this particular manual, The Easiest Way to Become a Vegan by Pharaoh Ramesses El Aton, who has been a vegan 40 plus years. He will take you step by step on how to abstain from the junk foods, how to abstain from the dead flesh, the chicken, the turkey, the pork, beef, and all sorts of animal products. Purchase this particular manual, The Easiest Way to Become a Vegan, to eat more natural. Remember that the herbs are for the healing of the nations. Let food be your medicine and let medicine be your food. Consume of every fruit-bearing and herb-bearing tree. Unto you it shall be for meat. Purchase this particular manual, The Easiest Way to Become a Vegan by Pharaoh Ramesses El Aton. Peace, health, and longevity.